okay,
Thanks.
What do you think?
I like it. Comfort zone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But that's the idea is that when you sat in the car, you have your most like comfortable chats, right, with your mates, just chatting
the
away.
deep and meaningfuls.
Yeah, and actually I've had a lot of feedback that sitting in this car instead of a podcast studio, so much less daunting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like you're in a car every day. It's like a familiar,
more natural conversation.
Environment. Love it.
Welcome back to Passenger Princess. Today I'm joined by Dr. Shireen, who has made a killing on social media by posting advice about women's health, hair, skin. She's a London-based NHS GP, and I'm going to ask her all the questions that we're all wondering. So I have so many questions to ask you, but I'm going to start off with the one that I think most people are going to be listening in for. If a patient came to you and said, my hair's falling out, my hair's thinning, what should I do? What would your first piece of advice be that you would give them?
That's a really good question. I mean, it is a very common complaint, especially in women, but also men that we see. My first bit of advice to give them would be that they're not alone in what's going on. And it's a really, really stressful time. And I think a lot of the time, people are almost embarrassed to see their GP or feel like they're wasting their GP's time, but they're absolutely not. The psychological impact on hair loss is huge, but then also often it is a sign that there's something else going on inside. So it's actually a perfect time to come and see your GP so that we can help them. In terms of what we would do, first would be to examine the patient's scalp. So sometimes we can see something in the scalp that helps to tell us what the cause of it is. So for example, if we see a lot of dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, that can kind of guide us in terms of what we can advise the patients to do. Sometimes a pattern of hair loss is quite important. So for example, in PCOS, we see something called androgenic alopecia, where it's like a male pattern hair loss. We might see sort of like the circular patterns that you can see in other types of alopecia. So examining is really, really important. And then the first line of investigation is a blood test. So there are so many things that we look for in the blood test that can help identify the cause of the hair loss. It is important to note that often hair loss is multifactorial. So it's not one thing, but there can be one thing that's really, really driving it. So we would always do a full blood count. So in that, we're checking for any signs of any anemia. We would check iron levels, so specifically ferritin, which is a marker of iron, which we can talk more about later, because I think quite often that is one of the leading causes of hair loss in women of childbearing age. And then other things like vitamin D, vitamin B12, thyroid function, hormones, all of these kind of things can contribute to it. So the first line that we would do would be a blood test.
And I didn't learn until recently, actually, when I went to see a trichologist, is that factor of your iron levels linked to your hair loss. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that if you had a ferritin level that's too low, your hair will not only not grow, but it can fall out. Mm-hmm. And that ferritin level, I've been told, is 80. Is that correct? That's the optimum.
Yeah. So really interestingly, when we do a blood test on the NHS, we will look for a ferritin level of 13 and above as being normal. So the range is about 13 to 150. However, if that blood test was done for hair loss, and hair loss is a presenting complaint that the patient has, 13 is not normal. 60 to 80 is that sweet spot. So a lot of the time, patients will call reception, get their blood results back, be like, oh, it's all been marked as normal, and then they'll just go about their way. But it's actually the ferritin, the number that you need to look at, and you need it to be within that 60 to 80 range.
And something I talk about a lot is that there's genuinely no point of using all these products on your hair and, you know, all these growth serums and treating your ends and cutting down the heat if your ferritin level isn't good, because what's the point of using, you know, all these different products if you haven't addressed potentially the root cause of the issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with hair loss, it is often a lot of different things. So it's the hair habits that we have that's really important. So the scalp serums can really help, and looking after the ends as well can really help if you want to grow your hair long. But yeah, say there is something like the elephant in the room almost, where it's like your ferritin levels are in their boots, then there's no point. Like you're not going to be able to grow your hair or give your hair the best shot. So it's like a multi-pronged approach. So we want to optimize everything internally, but then with the hair that we have, we want it to, you don't want it to deplete. You want it from how healthy it is as it comes out of the root. You want that to carry on the whole way through. So things like oiling from the mid-lengths down, bonding products, and then looking after the scalp, because that is literally the root of your hair.
And it's like there's a myth, isn't there, that getting your hair cut more makes it grow, which makes no sense, because your hair grows from your scalp, and as soon as it comes out of its hair follicle, it's dead. So, you know, for hair growth, you want to be stimulating your scalp and the growth at the top, and then all this hair here is already dead. So all you can do is keep it hydrated so it doesn't snap and you get split ends and it kind of gets shorter and shorter. And why do people say that? Like,
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just to encourage people to get their hair cut. Like as we're growing up, I mean, my mum used to say if you cut your hair, it'll grow faster. But you're absolutely right. So if we think about a tree, if you're not watering the roots, then it's not going to grow. So everything really does start at the roots. However, if you do want long hair, you need to protect it from the bottom to stop it from breaking. But cutting it isn't going to do that unless you've not looked after it. So if you haven't looked after it and it's dry and dehydrated and you've got lots of split ends, you will start losing it going up. So in those situations, cutting it will help it to kind of grow in a healthy way and to not move up. But ultimately, cutting your hair isn't going to make anything up there.
No correlation.
No, zero correlation.
Literally no correlation.
Yeah.
And Dr. Shireen has like the best hair growth tips. So what are your 5 hair growth tips?
Oh gosh. Okay, so quick fire. Fine. So I would say looking after your scalp is probably the most important thing that you can do. And in terms of like the hair habits that we adopt is really, really important. So I would say washing your hair at least every other day would be my number one.
This is what I've recently started doing because of you, and they told me in Korea.
Did they tell? Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. So we align.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of the time people do like hair training. They'll leave it really long between hair washes. That's actually really, really bad for your scalp. It allows product buildup, the pores to get clogged. Like we would cleanse our face, your scalp is skin. We have to be washing that. So at least every other day. My second tip would be not to allow your hair to air dry. So again, we always talk about heat being bad for your hair, but actually if you just leave your hair to air dry, that humidity that's within your scalp can actually cause a disruption with the fungi that exists there for it to overgrow and you can get dandruff. And also in keeping with that is your hair is most fragile when it's wet. So if you allow your hair to be wet for long periods throughout the week because you're not drying it, it's more likely to break. So you want it to get out of that fragile state as soon as possible. The third would be to not oil your scalp if possible, or if you're going to do it just for a really short period. Again, we used to massage oils into our scalp and sleep with it overnight, but no, oiling is great, but from the middle to the bottom, and you don't want to leave it on for too long. Next would be to invest in a good shampoo. I think there are so many shampoos out there, but depending on what your hair needs are, to actually target your shampoo towards your hair needs. So for example, if you've got really greasy hair, something with salicylic acid in it will really help. If you've got a lot of dandruff, you want something like Nizoral. It's got like ketoconazole, it's an antifungal in there, and actually a lot of people can benefit from that. And the fifth would be to regularly check your bloods, especially if you're someone who has periods and your iron levels might be dropping, just to keep an eye on it. And by that I mean maybe like once or twice a year if you're not having symptoms, but obviously if you're having symptoms then more often.
I've obviously experienced loads of hair growth recently, and I'm very conscious of going back to square one, so I'm always on like high alert. And I really felt like when I was in Japan I could feel a lot of my hair was coming out, and I was like, what's going on, why is my hair coming out? And the second I landed in the UK, I went and got a blood test. I just booked, like, you know, you can book them same day, like private ones for like 99 quid. And I went and I was like, I need my blood levels checked, my hair's falling out. And then actually the test result came back and my iron level was fine.
Okay.
She was like, your cholesterol's really high.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
Was not expecting that.
Apparently it's hereditary. So,
okay,
you know,
fine. Yeah. No, but you did the right thing. So you noticed something was changing. And I think what in all things in medicine, but also with your hair, if you know what's normal for you, so what's like a normal amount of shedding, like you'll know what's normal for you, then the second that things become abnormal, you'll pick it up so fast and then action it, which is what you did. And a lot of the time, I think as women, often we're so busy, we're doing lots of other things, we sometimes put our health on the back burner. But having a blood test, it doesn't take long, and it can tell us so much about your health.
And talking of shedding, I got my hairbrush out earlier. Dr. Shireen was absolutely horrified at this.
I was horrified. Oh my God, I can't even look at it.
But to explain what you were telling me about the brush, you know, not work.
I mean, this is like clogged with hair, with dust, with dirt. You'll have bacteria in there, and you're literally putting this on your scalp. I mean, I'm not judging, but kind of.
And actually, if I clean this, all the dust is going to come out.
The dust will come out. Yeah, it'll go over your car and maybe your outfit.
You're like, get that away. But actually, like that's what's going on my hair.
That's going on your scalp. So if we think about like we want to cleanse our scalp, right? And then you're putting that on your scalp it's not
ideal. And these aren't nicks, guys. They're dust.
It's just pure dust.
You know, dust.
Yeah.
Dust sheds.
So get all the hair out, and you should do this regularly.
And what was your tip for cleaning?
Okay, so in terms of how to clean it now at this point, so after you've taken all the hair out, there's obviously still, you can see quite a lot of dust in there.
Yeah, and these are expensive hairbrushes. I think the Bond Bros hairbrushes, personally, I think they're worth it. They're just, until you try one, you won't understand how much better it is than a normal hairbrush. I think this one is keratin infused. So the bristles actually have keratin in. And I'm pretty sure, tell me if I'm wrong, they distribute the oil. So when I brush my hair from here, it's distributing the oil from my scalp all the way through my ends.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
conditions them.
As long as there's no it's not clogged.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, so these brushes are great, like the bristles and stuff, and you're absolutely right. I've got one too. I use it. I've got the brown mocha colour one.
Cute.
I love it. And I really do notice a difference between a good and a bad hairbrush. And you want something that's not going to be breaking your hair as you're brushing it. So
what's a more affordable alternative?
So Denman's quite good. Yeah, and then there's also, these you can get these paddle brushes where they're quite widely spaced. They're quite good as well, because you don't want it to be too tight on your hair as you're brushing it through, and they're inexpensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of cleaning this, they're really quite tricky to clean, but what they recommend is dipping it into warm water with shampoo, like your own shampoo that you would use. I wouldn't recommend soap or washing up liquid. You know what people do with their makeup brushes sometimes. Yeah. And then using a toothbrush that you're obviously not using, and kind of pushing it between and lifting all the dust out, and you'll notice such a difference. It will work the way it's meant to work.
Yeah, it makes sense. I wouldn't go and drag my hair on the floor, so why am I using a dirty hairbrush?
It's literally, like a Hoover brush where you get all that dust. Imagine putting that on your hair.
It's horrible.
And
what about combs? Do you find combs are better?
I love a wide tooth comb. So exactly, I love them because again,
one I made earlier. This is a Sharpore.
Yeah, I feel for styling they're really nice. If you do tight curls with curling tongs or an air wrap or something, then you can brush them out really nicely with this rather than a brush. So I use them a lot for styling.
Yeah. So supplements for hair growth, what would you recommend?
Okay, so when it comes to supplements, I always say food first. Okay, so if you are having a good, healthy, balanced diet, you should be able to get most of what you need from your diet. However, we lead really busy lives. So when we think about supplementation, we need to try and target it based on us. So it isn't a one size fits all. For example, if you're losing hair because your iron is low, I would recommend iron supplementation. But if you're losing hair but your iron levels are normal, then you don't need it. But iron is probably one of the biggest ones that I see that makes a huge impact. But I would never advise taking iron without having your blood levels checked, because you can take too much.
And what are your views on the iron infusions as opposed to the iron tablets?
So, on the NHS, we do offer iron infusions if the ferritin levels are very, very low and you're really severely anemic with it. So we can send patients from the GP practice to the hospital for an infusion, and they work amazingly. You're getting the iron straight into the bloodstream. However, the tablets are really effective as well, but there are a lot of people that can't tolerate the tablets with iron supplements. So it's all about finding a formulation brand that works for you. So a lot of the ones that we prescribe on the NHS, I always warn patients they might get constipated, it might turn your poo black, and we often say take 2 to 3 a day, but actually even if you're taking 1 a day, quite often that is enough. So if the side effects are too much, just cut down to 1 a day. You're likely to see a benefit from that. But otherwise, over the counter, there are some amazing formulations that you can take.
When I took the iron tablets, I did find that my poo was black.
Yeah.
I was so constipated, but my ferritin level was 12.
Okay.
So I was like, geez, I really need to take 3 a day and, get this back up. So I tried the 3 a day and I was so constipated. So I did pay for a private infusion.
Okay. And what did your levels come to?
I didn't have them checked afterwards.
Okay.
But I feel I did. Sorry, they were in the result. I think they're 130 or something.
Perfect.
Really, really high. But I was so tired, and I genuinely at one point could not wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's because the iron level was so low. I used to have I didn't have anemia in school, but I had really low iron in school, and I used to fall asleep at my desk. I would literally be asleep in my lessons, and the teachers would just leave me because they'd be like, oh.
That's it.
And can't we even wake her up?
You almost, you just get used to feeling that way and thinking it's normal.
Yeah.
So hair loss is just one sign of iron deficiency. So like pale skin, tiredness, headaches, shortness of breath, all of this can be linked to iron deficiency. And we see it a lot in postpartum. So when someone's just had a baby, during pregnancy, a lot of women become iron deficient. It's really normal. Then obviously during labour, you can lose blood. After a C-section, you can lose blood. And then you've suddenly got this newborn baby. You have hormonal hair loss anyway. And then in keeping with that, your iron levels are low. And because you're so busy and you just don't sleep and you don't have time, no one puts their own health first and get that blood test. And it makes such a difference. Did you feel better after your infusion?
Like so much better. I felt so energized, and it just made, but I didn't think, because I wasn't putting my health first. And it's only when I cared about how my hair looked and why it really wasn't growing as quickly as I expected it to, that I went to the effort to do it.
Okay. And then you saw all the other benefits as well.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Another one in terms of supplements is vitamin D. So vitamin D is really linked with your hair, and again, a lot of people don't realize that. I think commonly people think it's like bone health, muscle aches and pains, but your hair is also linked with your vitamin D. And in this country, we don't see enough sun to be able to get enough of it from the sun. So it's probably one of the only ones you can't get enough from your food. So we actually on the NHS recommend everyone from October to March to take a vitamin D tablet. And again, hair is really big, muscle, bone pain, but fatigue is a huge one that we see with vitamin D deficiency. So that's another supplement that I recommend everyone to take.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and if you're so a lot of people that work indoors, or like if they cover, like they wear hijab and they're not showing, because you get it via your skin. So if you're physically not seeing the sun throughout the year, then all year round.
Wow. Yeah. That's so interesting. Okay, you have amazing hair and you're a hair expert. So which 5 hair products would you recommend to a listener?
Oh wow, there are so many. So okay, in terms of like a pre-wash, Michael Van Clark have an amazing pre-wash conditioner. It's like made with like cashmere protein. So I often put that in because again, when we think about hair depletion, it really strengthens your hair. So you put that in maybe like 20 minutes before a shower. And Philip Kingsley, again, it's a pre-wash. They've got like a bonding treatment.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
It's incredible. It's so good. So I'll use one or the other. If I'm using the Michael Van Clark, I'll add in an oil. So any kind of like hair oil will do. Otherwise, the Philip Kingsley, I'll wet my hair a little bit, put that in 20 minutes. And
that's the elasticizer, isn't it?
No, that's a hair mask.
Right, okay.
So I use that sometimes in the shower. But you can't, but that is designed for like before. And sometimes people put it in and they'll leave it for like 2 days.
Yeah.
But no, this is like, it's like in a tube. It's called the Bond Builder.
Okay.
It is incredible. It's so good. So I would say like pre-wash, I would use them too. In the shower, I love Durkos. So Durkos is they've got like an anti-fungal, like anti-dandruff shampoo. I'm really prone to a dry scalp. So for me, I saw a trichologist as well after I had my second baby, and she was like, your scalp is just so dry. I had seborrheic dermatitis, all linked to like stress and stuff. So I started using the shampoo and it was like incredible. So Durkos shampoo, highly recommend. Conditioners, I try not to go like too heavy because my hair can get quite greasy. But there's one called, it's from the Davines group in Italy. It's called, I think, Oli or Oi. I need to check that. But it's from Davines. Like their entire range is amazing. So I'd do that. Then after, I love Colour Wow. So for me, like in terms of just, again, dryness, frizziness, just the Colour Wow, you know, the spray, the magic.
Dream Coat.
Yeah. So I don't know the names. I can like recognise the bottles.
That is amazing. And I
really
first started using that when I was spending a lot of time in the heat. And I think someone gave it to me and they were like, you have to try this for humidity. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's
this
incredible.
Is amazing.
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
And it's activated by heat. So if you're then going to blow dry your scalp, if you put that on, you just don't get that frizz. And you then don't need to go in with like really hot hair tools or anything to try and get rid of the frizz because it kind of keeps everything at bay. So yeah, they're my
Any like specific growth products you'd recommend?
I mean, the GOAT is minoxidil. So if you want to grow your hair, minoxidil is incredible. It's the one that's got like all of the science behind it. And one thing I'd always say is if you go to Boots, there's like a men's one and a women's one. So the men's one's like 5%, the women's one's 2%. And if you read the men's one, it'll say not for women, but that one's fine. It's pink tax. You know, it's like more expensive and like less product.
I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about minoxidil.
Okay.
But as a doctor, What's your take on it?
I mean, I think it's great. I think if you're losing hair, you want to grow your hair. What it does, it helps your hair grow, but it also keeps it in the growth phase for longer. So our hair goes through a constant cycle where it starts to grow, stays in like this latent growth phase, and then it sheds. So it prolongs that growth phase. So if you want longer hair and more hair, I love it. The only thing that we always say with minoxidil is that if you've got cats or like animals, it's toxic for them. So you have to be quite careful with that. And then the other thing is you have to continue taking it.
So what happens if you stop taking it?
You'll just go back. So like, for example, say you've got like high blood pressure and your GP puts you on blood pressure medicine. If you then, it'll work great. Then if you stop taking it, your blood pressure will come back up. Or like diabetes.
My fear has always been with it that if I start using it, I'll have to carry on. But then I heard a quote the other day that said, being afraid to take minoxidil is like being afraid to go to the gym, because if you stopped going to the gym, you wouldn't have a six-pack anymore.
That's it.
And it's the same with minoxidil, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know why. It's just, for me, I feel my hair has actually grown without using it. So I'm like, should I, just see how long I can get it without using it?
Yeah, I mean, look, with minoxidil, when you start using it, and this is what a lot of people get scared of, you get shedding. So you'll initially start to shed, and a lot of people, it happens to them and then they'll just stop and they'll just freak out by it. But if you kind of push through, you will start to, after a couple of months, really see the benefits of it. If you are happy with your hair and it's growing, doing other things, it's not like you have to do it.
Yeah.
But
it's more of like a ×2 speed.
Yeah, and you'll get more thickness. So like, especially in like areas where your hair might be thinning.
Yeah.
Like for me, like my frontal areas, which again, a lot of the time with iron deficiency, it is these kind of areas and postpartum where people lose the hair. But I really go in with the minoxidil. And a tip with using it is if you put it on a toothbrush, you're gonna have like so many different toothbrushes. Like
one for cleaning my hairbrush, one for my minoxidil,
and one for your teeth. You can actually like target it on where you want to do it. So if you've got a specific area, because it comes out as a foam, so I always get the foam one. If you just put that on there and then you can literally brush it in, so you'll, because it's all on contact.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if any of it goes onto your face, like make sure you wash it off.
I always get hairy face.
You get hairy face, hairy hands. Yeah.
Oh my god. So what do you actually think of my hair as a doctor? This is going to be interesting. I want you to have a proper look.
Okay. All right. Let me start from the top. I mean, it's a bit hard without the camera and the light. Hold on, let me put this down. I mean, like with my eye, from what I can see, it looks super healthy. You look like you've just got back from Korea and had like a 15-step.
I did.
Scalp treatment. And the back is an area, so there's a lot more. So you've got a lot more thickness at the back. Yeah. Which is really, really common. But it's a lot of the time, often where we don't wash out products properly, or you can get build up, or we don't clean it properly. But your scalp looks really healthy.
What my ends?
Okay, let's go to the ends. Come forward. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the no heat.
Yeah,
no heat for 9 months.
But with the
just my hairdryer.
With the heat, you said you do heatless curls.
Yeah,
you've got to be careful with them as well. Sometimes you get a bit of traction, so don't do it too tight.
So I that's where my problem was around my hairline.
Okay.
It's a lot thicker, but I am conscious of that.
Yeah.
That when I pull it, and also I don't just put mine in, I tie it at the back.
Okay.
So it's very tight, but I do sleep like a psychopath on my back like this.
Okay.
And I find, because if I sleep on the side, I find it tugs.
Okay.
So I'm quite careful, but
that's the only thing. But then you've got the benefits of, you've got great hair and you're not needing to use heat on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really hard, isn't it? You want to have like good hair.
I know. But I was using a hair growth serum before.
Yeah.
Which was great. It was the UK Lash one.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it ran out, and everyone was saying to me to use the Kerastase Genesis one.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you know what? I've done 6 months, 7, 8 months in the UK Lash one. It works.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the Kerastase Genesis now. And I have found that one's incredible as well.
Okay.
It's slightly bigger bottle, so you get a bit more bang for your buck,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I always say to people about the growth serums, like, just use one.
That's it.
With the hair growth, I do feel like it's more of a mindset and something you need to commit to. Like, I have people saying to me, using a specific shampoo or a specific conditioner or a specific growth serum isn't going to grow your hair. And my argument to that is, okay, that specific product might not grow my hair, but if you use it with other products and on a whole, and also if you're every day seeing growth serum, growth shampoo, growth this, growth supplement. In your mind, it's almost like a mindset thing that like you're growing your hair and you're committed, and
100%.
it puts you in like the
in that right mindset. It's like going to the gym. Like I find when I start going to the gym, I'll start eating healthier because I'm like I'm in this like fitness mindset. So with hair, there isn't unfortunately like one miracle product. So it's a habit. It's like lots of different things together will give you an overall result. And it's like skin, like people always say, oh, what do you do for good skin? It's like, it's not, there isn't just one thing. If there was, I'd just bottle it up and sell it. Like it's literally a lifestyle, and there's so much that we do also outside of products. So like it's all well and good spending loads of money on like skincare or hair care, but if you're not like nourishing your body well, sleeping well, exercise, movement, all of these kind of things impact our hair and our skin as well. So it's a multi-pronged approach, and I don't think anyone can ever come and say this one product, this is it, this is what you need, and you can just like live like you know, do whatever else you want to do. So it is.
I mean, I did the shampoo and conditioner I've used since the start of my hair growth journey has been the L'Oreal Elvive Growth bottles. They're the brown ones.
The brown ones, yeah.
I love them.
I've started using them.
Yeah, I love them. They've got minoxidil in, which obviously like reduces hair loss. And I did an ad for that a few months ago, which I was so happy with because I've genuinely been using the product. And when you kind of get a bit further on in influencing, you do have the opportunity to genuinely use a product and go to the brand and say, hey, I love this product. You know, can you pay me to do an ad for it? And, you know, it's like you give a bit to get a bit back.
Yeah.
So I had loads of comments on this video. I made it so clear in the ad. I've used loads of products for my hair growth, but this is the shampoo and conditioner that I've used as I've been growing my hair. I never ever said that it was just the shampoo and conditioner that grew my hair. And I had so many, the video performed amazingly. It has like 15 million views.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I had so many comments like, this isn't going to grow your hair. And I was like, it was so frustrating because I didn't say that only using that shampoo and conditioner would grow your hair. I was, you know, putting the message across that this is what I've used and this is what I've had good results with, alongside all my other products. Obviously, I can't include them in an ad, but that was really frustrating for me because I was like, I genuinely love this shampoo and conditioner. It weirdly helps my heatless curls stay in.
Really? Okay, interesting.
I find when I use different shampoos and conditioners, I don't have the same effect with my heatless curler.
Interesting. Okay.
But you know,
I think it's really hard, like when you're on social media, because also you want to talk about different products that do different things, but you also want to hit like different price points. So sometimes you might talk about one growth shampoo that, you know, is more accessible, but then you might use another one that's also amazing, and you've used it and you've genuinely liked it, and you want to share that for someone who maybe wants to invest a bit more. So it is tricky, but I think like that's just the way it is on social media.
It's like, and the comments are always from the people that don't follow you and don't have that instilled trust in you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's not from your community.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I love that shampoo and conditioner is because they are affordable. So, you know, you can spend your money. To me, it feels annoying spending loads of money on shampoo and conditioner. I'd rather spend that money on a growth serum or a supplement. So it's like you can go to Boots, whack that in your basket. You're not going to feel a big dent in your bank account, and then you can spend the extra money on a supplement or a growth serum. So that was a lot of hair chat. Let's go right back to the beginning, and I want you to explain how you became a doctor, because it's a very long process, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was never like the kind of person who's like, I want to be a doctor. I just went through school. I wasn't great at school, to be honest. I was not predicted great grades. And then suddenly I did my GCSEs and I did really, really well. So my parents were Iranian. So they were like, you're smart, do medicine. So I picked my A-levels and I initially picked maths, further maths, economics and French because I could see myself like going into the city. And then after like a week, I switched it to biology, chemistry, maths, and with the view that I'm going to do medicine. And I was really lucky because a lot of people had, from childhood, they knew they wanted to do medicine and they'd done so much to add to their personal statement. I had nothing, but my aunt was working in South Africa as a doctor at the time. So I went to see her. I did some work experience there. I put up my personal statement that I've done work experience in Cape Town. And I think it really helped make my application stand out. So got into Imperial, like complete imposter syndrome from like a state school, like very average, to suddenly being with these like top private school kids who were just so smart and intelligent. They knew how to study. But yeah, I worked my way through, finished, got distinction, which was like wild to me. And then
how long is that process?
6 years. So all of my friends from school finished at 21. And at 21, I just started and we'd done all of our like theory and like lecture-based stuff, and we were in the hospitals. So then they were all making money, and I was like, I'm still just a student. So so that took 6 years. You then come out and you do foundation training, which is really long hours. You're the bottom of the pile. You have all the like rubbish jobs to do within the team. So it's not, you come out as a doctor and you think, great, I'm going to be making decisions and seeing patients, but you're doing like the paperwork for the whole team. So started off doing that as an F1, and you take home I was taking home £900 a month, which, I mean, living in London, you can't really even pay rent.
Yeah,
so,
it's like you'd be lucky to get a shared room. A room in a shared house,
yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. And you got like food and bills. And so I lived at home and I saved. I did F1 and F2, and then I was like, I was looking at, they always say, look at someone 10 years ahead of you and their life and see if that's what you want to do. So I was looking at the doctors in the hospital 10 years ahead of me. They were leaving their kids to come and do a night shift, and they were doing weekends. And I was like, I love being a doctor, but it's not my whole identity. Like, I want to do more. Like, I want a family. I want the flexibility to kind of see what I can do with medicine outside of like the run-of-the-mill hospital work. So I applied to become a GP. So I did F1, F2, took a gap year, did a bit of traveling. Then I started my GP training, which took 3 years. So finished that at 26. So in total, took about 8 years to become a GP. Worked as a GP for like 2 or 3 years, and then thought to myself, I don't think I can do this all day, every day. Like, I love it. I love seeing the patients, and I still work as an NHS GP, but 10 minutes per consultation is just like the patient's dissatisfied, we're dissatisfied. Like, no one's really enjoying it. And it's a system that's broken more than anything. So I was like, my friends would always ask me, oh, my periods are heavy. Oh, I've just got polycystic ovary syndrome. What is it? And I'd explain stuff to them, and they're like, why don't you put this on social media? Like, it's so interesting. And back then, so we're talking about like 2019, there are a lot of doctors in America doing it. But I feel like in the UK, there was just, people were a bit scared of like the GMC and like, are we allowed to be on social media? It was a bit of a grey area. And I thought, you know what, if I'm just putting information out there that is evidence-based, it's what we're telling patients anyway, it's not controversial, I can stand by what I'm doing. So I started making content, and I started off with really like stigmatized topics. So why is sex painful, or why are my legs hairy? Things that people were like maybe embarrassed to speak to their doctor about.
And it would stop them from scrolling.
It would stop them from scrolling.
Yeah.
And like, I can't even remember who it was. I think someone like random that I met publicly was like, I was sat on the bus and the person in front of me was like reading through your captions. And this is before Reels. So it was like infographics. So I'd spend ages on like Canva, like making like a little cartoon. And then I'd do the text, and then I would go in a different app and make the text bold, because you couldn't make it bold on Instagram.
That's so funny.
And I would just sit in the evenings and I'd make content, and I would occasionally just talk about like my medical life as well as a doctor, just like a picture of me at work, just kind of mix it up a bit. And then I had no intention of it growing like the way that it did. It was almost like, let me just see, I'm just a bit bored, I need something like to kind of stimulate the creative side of my brain. And then it just grew. And then I started having brands reaching out to me and asking to work with me. And when I work with brands, like most of the time I say to them, look, I will work with you. We can promote like what you're doing. But as long as what I'm creating for you is still valuable for my community. So I will, for example, work with a period brand, but the content won't be buy these pads. It will be, let's talk about heavy periods.
Yes.
And I'd bring the educational side into it, because at the end of the day, for me, the education and having a platform where I can talk to more than one person within 10 minutes is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I feel like now I've got like a really good like mix. So I still do my NHS GP stuff, but then there's this whole world on social media, which it doesn't feel like work. Like I love it. Like I love going to events. I love meeting people. I love working with brands. I just love the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
but the reason you're able to do that now is because you took that initial risk when no one else really was sure if they could do it, and you thought, do you know what? I'm just going to give it a go.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for me, that's such a big like life lesson as well, that even now, like as I'm kind of progressing, obviously new opportunities come your way, or you think about, okay, what's my next step? I'm really happy what I'm doing on social media, but what do I want to do next? And it's all about just those little leaps of faith and just being like backing yourself in a way, which I know you had a similar thing in the corporate world.
Do you know what? I made a reel a while ago about, you know, as that trend, people will tell you not to quit your job in corporate to follow your dreams, don't listen to them. And I had a couple of comments saying this is such a bad message to give to people, like to quit your job, you know, there's no stability. And I was like, well, if you're worried about having stability, you shouldn't quit your job, because it's the risk you take.
Absolutely.
That has nothing to do with money. You know, I took that risk and you took that risk because we wanted something for our personal benefit, a new avenue, a new way of learning, a new set of people to work with. There wasn't actually anything to do with money or stability there. It was always like, oh, this is what I want to do for me.
Just try it,
Yeah. And I always thought, when people ask me, how did you have the courage to quit that corporate job and drop out of university, and how did you have the confidence to do it? Literally, the only answer I can come up with is that because I had so many jobs when I was younger, and I knew how to be a waitress, and I knew how to be a barista, and I knew how to work in a hairdresser's, the only thing I would think was, well, I can just go and do that if it doesn't work. Or I can go back to my old job. But I always have those key qualities and key skills that I learned when I was younger. Like, I could walk into a restaurant now and bag a job.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, can you show us how to be a waitress? Yeah, sure. Oh, let's get that checked. This is what we need. Blah blah blah. I can envision the till and tap it with my eyes closed. You know.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to trust that if you lose everything, you have the skills to build it back up again. So it's got nothing really to do with stability and money and
it's almost just like coming out of your comfort zone and just take a step out. And as you say, if you don't like it or it doesn't work out,
go back.
Yeah, you can. And if you've got those core skills, which you obviously developed over the years, you've always got something you can do, and you have that confidence in yourself. And I think that's what's really important. Is like, I always think to myself, if I lose everything, I'm not losing myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'll build it up again. Mm-hmm. Like I'll do, even if it's not medicine, I'll do something else. But I know that I have the ability to, you know, finish a 6-year degree. I've got that stamina. Like I can. I'm confident in myself. Yeah. And I think if you're confident in yourself, then you are more likely to take risks because you trust yourself. I think it's when you don't really trust that, oh my gosh, like what would I do if this doesn't work? Like, could
you have to want it to work so badly that nothing else will happen. Obviously most of my followers are in their kind of mid-20s. What is your take on the contraceptive pill? Like, is it as bad as everyone says it is, or?
So interesting. Such a good question. I could talk about the pill all day. What I would say, so I'm in my 30s, and in my generation, the second you became sexually active, you would be put on the pill. And I see a lot of women my age coming, and they've never known what their periods are like because they've literally been on the pill for so many years. I think this new generation, so early 20s, mid 20s, there's obviously so much information on social media right now about the pill. I mean, over the last few years, it's not even new, where people are really questioning the pill and if it's a good thing or not. My biggest bit of advice is the pill isn't bad. I prescribe it. There's a lot of fear mongering around the pill, that a lot of it is quite unfair to the pill. But I also think that people come and share their lived experiences a lot of the time on TikTok and social media, and what you might take the pill, like a specific brand, you take it and your best friend takes it. She might be absolutely fine. Actually, her skin's cleared up with it. Her hair's looking great. It's done amazing for her. You, exactly the same pill, same demographic, same age, same medical history, come out in spots, start losing your hair, moody, grumpy, weight gain, bloating. So you can't really knock it until you've tried it, is my biggest bit of advice. And I think it's got just such a bad name because people have like jumped on this thing of let's share like our horror stories. It's something that we prescribe. You can't just buy the combined pill over the counter. We do a risk assessment. So if anyone's worried about the risks that might be associated with it, like specific cancers, blood clots, etc., we will analyze that risk. We've got your medical history, we'll take your blood pressure, check your smoking, and we constantly review. So whenever I, as a GP, get a patient asking for the pill, because we normally prescribe it every 3 months, every 6 months, I will look when their last review was. And if it's a younger patient, it has to have been within the last year. An older patient, 6 months. Say it's someone who's like 37, 38 and they're asking for the pill. If they've not been reviewed, I'm not giving it. Like we monitor it. So you need to kind of trust that as well. But yeah, I think it's really unfair.
The past 6 months, I've had really, really heavy periods, and I've noticed that my mood over, the week before my period and the week during is horrendous. Like, it's gotten to the point where I'll book filming in on my 2 good weeks instead of my 2 bad weeks, which I just think is getting to the point where I'm like, this is too far.
Yeah.
But I'm in such a bad mood and I feel so awful that I that's the best way I can get around it. So what would your advice be if you had a patient come in and tell you that? This is me, like, please help me.
I mean, the first thing I would say is, like, what you're describing sounds like potentially PMS, like premenstrual syndrome. So before your period, it affects half of the population, so half of women, I mean. So PMS used to be called PMT, and that is that exact thing that you described. So just before your period, your hormones are fluctuating a lot, and some women are more sensitive to those hormonal changes. So it's not like anything is happening wrong within your system. It's just the way that you're kind of reacting to the hormonal changes. You've found a way of working with it. So you're adjusting your schedule, and in a way you're kind of managing it.
But it seems unfair. Like, why can't I be
unfair.
Why can't I be, happy and in a good mood and not in pain for all 4 weeks? Like, it's
like
annoying.
men, it's like this.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, it's like up and down, up and down. Look, you can't. So there's a lot about balancing hormones on social media. You can't actually balance your hormones. Your body does a very good job of doing that itself, but you can influence your hormones. And it is, PMS is hormonally driven. It's a sensitivity to those hormonal fluctuations. And what we think about is managing potential things in our lifestyle that can help. And there are some things that really, really can help. So for you, it's been the last 6 months. So I don't know if anything's changed in your life, your lifestyle in the last 6 months, but things that can impact it. So stress. So cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone. It literally steals from like everything else. So it will shut down your reproductive system. So someone who's always stressed might notice their periods stop. And again, when it comes to hormonal sensitivity and stuff, it can affect your premenstrual symptoms. Lifestyle, diet, exercise, all of these things play such a huge role. So you don't want to be having a diet where you're having like huge sugar spikes and reducing your insulin sensitivity, because that again is really closely linked to your reproductive hormones, which then in turn, those fluctuations will cause premenstrual symptoms. In terms of diet, we always say opt for low glycemic index foods, like things like whole wheat pasta, like brown pasta, brown rice, fruit, nuts, whole foods, like less processed foods. And you might think like, what's that got to do with my periods or my symptoms? But there's so much evidence that it does help. And then we think about things like supplements. There are some supplements out there that can really help. So things like magnesium, really, really good at calming. So you might notice that if you start taking that, especially sort of like after ovulation, after the middle cycle, you might notice a really big benefit of that. Evening primrose oil, again.
My mum just got me some of
Did
that.
she? Okay, perfect. Mums always know.
Yeah.
So that can really help. Vitamin D, again, can be linked with your hormones, so make sure you're supplementing well. But yeah, unfortunately, it's something that affects so many women. If you're in a relationship, I always advise speaking openly with your partner so that they know. Some men actually like log into your like tracker apps and they can see like, okay, she's in a bit of a mood this week.
My boyfriend does say he notices things that change about me in the cycle, so he's learning. But amazing.
Green flag.
But even like I find my face changes. I had the British Fashion Awards on the 1st of December, and that's the day I get my period, and it's literally the ugliest day of the whole month. And I was like, why does it have to be on that day? And do you know what? I didn't look any different to how I would have 2 weeks earlier, but it's like the way you feel. It makes you feel ugly.
I always feel like my makeup just sits differently just before my period. I'm like, I know my period's coming because I've put it on, and it's like, but it comes down to the effect of hormones on your skin, like progesterone, your sebum production. yeah, it's annoying. But again, as you said, and so rightly so, it's something that you would notice. Like no one else would notice that. Yeah.
Notices it,
Yeah. And I think it's really important to be aware of that.
Yeah. Something I feel really passionate about that I never see anyone else speak about is sunbeds.
Okay.
So if I see a young girl on a sunbed on TikTok, I'll literally comment like, stop using sunbeds, you're ruining your skin. But it's something that the tanning and everything, no one really talks about. So I do not sunbathe.
Okay.
I don't lie in the sun.
Okay, amazing.
I wear SPF 50. My tan's completely fake. I wear SPF 50 on my face every single day. If I go on holiday, I'll literally have 50 t-shirt, like fully covered.
You can get these like really cool like visors.
I've seen them. I need to get them. But I'm so conscious of like skin cancer and everything affected to it. But what would your advice be to young girls that, you know, enjoy going on a sunbed once a week and they just love feeling tanned?
Oh, just don't do it. Like literally,
it's such a simple answer, isn't it?
But
It's just like, just don't do it.
It's really not worth it. If you sit in a dermatology clinic and you see what these people come with, older people who, I'll never forget this one woman, she came in and she had like this really horrible skin cancer and she was like, it was the 60s, everyone wanted brown legs, like, and I'll never forget the way she said that. And she really regretted it. It's just not worth it, you know. There are, as you say, so many ways to achieve that glow. I don't know if like we can talk about products, but Dr. Dennis Gross have these wipes that I've recently started using that I'm obsessed with. So like before like a night out, you literally just put it on your body. Within 2 hours, it exfoliates. It's got AHAs in it, so it completely gets rid of all the dead cells and you glow. And they've got face ones as well. So a lot.
So it's like got any self tanner in?
It's got self tanner in it, So you have to like wash it so that when it comes out, it's a little bit brown, and then you just literally just do it in circular motion, and you get.
I've never heard of that.
I had never. So I was at an event recently with them, and then the PR was telling me about them, and I was like, oh my gosh! And then they sent a whole load to my house. So I've been using them, and I don't think in the UK, because they were all from America, the team. So I don't think in the UK people know about this, but
that's so
obsessed.
Yeah, there's so many
options,
tanning products you can use without actually tanning.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to get a tan over the summer. The reason I don't bother at all is because I'm half Scottish, so I have olive skin from my mum.
Okay.
But the other half is from my dad. And for me to get a decent tan, it's going to take me a week and then it fades in a week. Like literally, what's the point?
That's it. And that's the thing. So you have it and then it fades. Yeah. It's not like you've done it. It's like one hit, you're done for life. And you have to keep doing it. And also like the aging effects of it as well.
Yeah, that's the one thing I try and sell to the young girls I see using the sunbeds is your face is going to look so ugly. Last year, you went viral for giving a tip about getting colds during the winter.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so many people don't know this, and it is just such a simple thing. And I'm sure if you go to your supplement cupboard, everyone's got these ingredients in. So if you start feeling, so anyone who has a cold, a couple of days before it, you know it's coming. Like you know, sometimes we might ignore it, but you start getting a bit of runny nose, a bit of a tickly throat. And if you take vitamin C and zinc at that point, there is actual science evidence that not only will you reduce the duration of that cold that is already in your system, you can't get it out, it's there, the duration and the severity of it. So the difference between being bedbound in bed, unable to move, to actually I can function. You'll still have the cold, but it won't be as severe. So the second I feel it, I've got these effervescent tablets in the cupboard, literally straight in, drink it.
And just take them once, or
I just continue like throughout. Yeah, just throughout the cold, and it just keeps it at bay.
Such a good tip.
Yeah, and it went viral on social media.
One of the first podcast days I did, I was so ill. I had the worst. I had this cough that just didn't go, and I'd be like, we'd be filming, I'd be like. Like with these guests in the car, and but because I had everyone booked in, I had to do it.
Yeah,
I had to get on with it.
Yeah,
and it was horrendous.
Yeah,
it was horrendous.
But that's the thing, especially when you're like self-employed, you've got your own thing going on. Like you don't want to take that time. You really don't want to take that time off because it's a personal hit.
Although, as a small reminder to anyone listening that has a business, I had a friend the other day, and she had to have like a last-minute emergency health operation, and they were like, it's on Tuesday. It was on the NHS. Like, there's no way of changing. She just had to do it on Tuesday. It was very, urgent. And she had a job, I think it was like £8,000. And she had to cancel it because obviously she was having the operation. And I was like, oh, don't worry, you can cover it on your business insurance. She was like, I don't have any. And I was like,
Okay,
so
you've
just
just
a
reminded
reminder,
me as well.
just a reminder, if you're listening and you haven't checked that you have the right business insurance or it might have expired, check it, because that's what business insurance is there for, especially if you're self-employed. So we actually met in Space NK. Was it like 2 months ago?
It was at the launch of the
Marylebone
store.
new store,
I would
relaunch.
Say I'd say about 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, and we literally bumped into each other. And Dr. Shireen was like, oh, Isabel, I follow you. And I was like, oh my God, can you come on my podcast? And here we are now. But we are both big, avid lovers, not only of Space NK, but of skincare. What are your favourite skincare products?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, if you come to my house, literally every like stop that you go to, there's like products. Like my husband's like, why do you need them everywhere? And I'm like, well, in the morning I'm here and there. Wow, gosh. My favorite products. And okay, let me break it down. Cleansers. I'm not huge, like I'm not loyal to my cleansers. Like I'm just like, get it off my face. But I love an oil-based cleanser or a balm cleanser. So I love Tatcha's Camellia Oil Cleanser. I love an Elemis Balm Cleanser as well. I
love the Elemis makeup remover one.
Yeah, the makeup remover one.
CeraVe have just launched, it's only in Superdrug at the moment, I think. They've got a makeup remover. It's very similar to the Elemis balm.
Oh, really?
Balm,
okay.
But it's CeraVe, and it's like kind of unfragrant. It's a bit more, slightly more gentle.
Okay.
But it's only in Superdrug at the moment.
Okay, I've not seen that. Maybe try that. Again, that's like a more like inexpensive option to the other ones. So I love like an oil-based cleanser, and then like a foaming cleanser, like something like Neutrogena or CeraVe. I love CeraVe like hydrating cleansers. So then I would go on to my serums. So Caroline Hirons' brand Skin Rocks. She's got one called the Amplifier that I've been using for the last like 2 to 3 months. Absolutely love it. It just helps like everything else to just absorb in really well.
Yeah, I've seen Em the nutritionist also raves about this as well.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it yet, but every time I see Emily use it, I'm like, oh my God, I need to get that and try it.
It just, for some reason, when I put that on, anything else I put on top, it literally just like sinks in.
That is the exact product I would expect her to come out of as well.
Yeah.
Something that no one else has made.
So practical.
That helps every single other skincare brand that you might own or buy work even better. So smart.
Amazing. I love that. And then I've recently been introduced to Allies of Skin.
Okay.
So they've got some, like, the formulations are incredible. I met the founder as well. He's such a great guy, and he went through I feel like with any skincare, like if you actually understand what it's going to do to your skin, the compliance will be there. Like, you will use it. And I think even when I prescribe skincare to my patients, if they don't use it, it's because I've not really had the time to tell them like what it's going to do, and it's the compliance that stops it from working rather than the actual ingredients not being good. So he went through all of the formulations with me. They're quite complex, but they're really, really good. And then vitamin C, I love La Roche-Posay. They've got really nice vitamin C that isn't aggressive. Sometimes some brands I can find it's quite aggressive. And then SPFs, I love, again, La Roche-Posay have like incredible.
That's my favourite, SPF.
Yeah, the best ones. They're just
the
so
way
light.
It goes on is so light. It sits really well under your makeup.
Exactly. And then that's really important that you put makeup on top. And again, back to Allies of Skin, they've got like a blurring SPF. It's like a primer. So literally if you're then going to put makeup on top, you don't need to put primer or anything. It literally just, it's like that airbrush, like Paris filter look.
Love that.
And they've also, for anyone who wants the tan, they've got one that gives you like a build up tan over the day. And it's like literally like you've just come back from like a short trip to Europe. So in terms of serums, absolutely love them. And a lot of them are quite hydrating. So the serums that I use a lot of the time have hyaluronic acid in them. I was telling you earlier about the Aromazone hyaluronic acid.
Yeah, so I was saying to Dr. Shireen earlier, I love the Vichy Mineral 98 serum. I just love it. And I always use it underneath my makeup because Katie, who's my friend that's a celebrity makeup artist, she uses it under everyone she does as makeup. And she said it works on all skin types. It moisturizes your skin. It doesn't affect your makeup. It's just the perfect skincare product to use underneath your makeup. But Dr. Shireen said she's got another one that I might like.
Yeah, so there's a brand, Aromazone, who I'm working with actually. They've just launched in the UK, huge in France. Like in France, like everyone is literally raving about this brand. You've got to wait like half an hour on any given day just to pay for your products. They've got hyaluronic acid and it's 3.5% concentration. So most of the ones you get are between like 1 to 1.5%. This is 3.5%, so very, very concentrated. It's only £6 and they sell one every 10 seconds in France.
That's crazy.
So yeah, they're in Westfields now. So.
I love it when you find a skincare product you love and it's like under 10 quid.
Oh my
so
God,
good.
yeah. And if you lose it, like
exactly,
you don't feel so bad.
Exactly. One of the main areas you like talking about is skincare, isn't it? So what advice would you give to someone that comes to you that's struggling with acne?
Oh, so I mean, acne is probably the most common skincare complaint that I see. I think often, so when we think about skin, there is the skin, brain, gut axis. Everything's linked between the three systems, and the like stress and things can impact acne, but likewise acne can then worsen if you've got really bad acne. It can worsen stress and social anxiety and not wanting to go out. So I think as a doctor, it's always really important to address the mental health impact of the skincare condition. So I always, when I take the history from them, I really focus on the mental health side of things, and also what's going on in your life that might be worsening your acne as well. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that, you know, it is like a chronic inflammatory condition. There are triggers to it, that things can worsen it, things that can make it better. But there is treatment. And I think giving patients that hope is really important. So my advice for them, we always go to the skincare routine, what they're using, make sure they're not using anything that might be triggering or worsening it. They can use the stronger acids and things, but again, it's all about knowing what your skin's going to react to and what's going to trigger it, and we always say start low, go slow, so building it up. But making sure within their skincare products, like for example their cleansers, they've got like things like salicylic acid in it, things that are going to really help that they can do themselves. And then we start with treatment. So we start with topical stuff like creams. Again, give it a month or two, make sure they're compliant with it. So one of the main reasons it doesn't work is often patients aren't using it properly, or they see there's no effect and they just stop. And then we can talk about like antibiotics, and some patients go on antibiotics for sort of 3 to 6 months because acne is driven by bacteria. That can often help. And then if not, then we go down. I mean, so acne's got two kind of peaks. You've got the teenage acne, and then a lot of people will find their teenage acne gets better, then suddenly like in their late 20s it comes back, and that second boost is often hormonally driven rather than the teenage like puberty acne. So then we think about what tablets they can take. So things like spironolactone is really good for hormonal acne, but then have you heard of Roaccutane? Yeah, so that again, I mean, that's like the GOAT. It's like the top level, and that's like the final step that we would go to treat acne. But my approach is always managing the mental health side of it, and also giving them that hope and making sure they're on the right treatment. And I think a lot of the time, like, we do people a disservice. Like, if you don't treat acne, you can scar, and then those scars in later life are so hard to treat. So even if it's a young, like 13, 14-year-old that comes in, I'm quite aggressive with the treatment. I'm like, let's do it. Let's get on top of this to stop future skin problems from coming.
And if someone came to you, like you just said, that's kind of 13, 14, they need a really simple skincare routine, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, this is like all over social media right now. So like with kids, they like their skin is the best it's ever going to look often up until that age. Once they start going through puberty and the hormones start coming in, that's when they might start noticing acne. I would always say to just keep things as simple as possible. So you want a cleanser, a moisturizer, an SPF, but I would not be going...
You don't need anything else.
You don't need anything else. You literally don't. Like you don't need the acids. And a lot of brands, you know, the way they market their products and with social media and TikTok and stuff, like you see these young girls, like I'm thinking about Christmas presents for like our family friends, and I'm like, all they'll want is skincare. But it's like, I need to be really
especially
careful.
From their like auntie that's a skincare guru. They're probably buzzing.
They're buzzing, yeah.
What did you think about the campaign for the kids skincare brand where they were wearing the
face
masks?
I mean, there's a lot of big opinions out there on it. I just don't think it's necessary. Like there's no need. But I also understand, like, kids often want to copy what their mums are doing. Like I remember being like 7, going to my mum's room, putting on her lipstick and things, and that's one thing. But to specifically target children for that kind of normal child behavior, it doesn't fully sit right with me. Like if I had a daughter,
I can see what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
I just don't think it was potentially executed in the right way. I think if they had dropped the face masks and it had been, you know, a 1, 2, 3 step system, which was, you know, made to look very grown up but still childlike, and it was really gentle, I could kind of get on board with it. But I think it was the mimicking that was too far.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think so.
A
Yeah.
12-year-old doesn't need a collagen face mask. I know
Absolutely
it wasn't
not.
collagen,
Yeah,
but,
no.
you know.
But and it's even like younger children. I'm thinking the ads. It was like 5-6-year-olds with these masks. It's too much.
It's too much. My brother always asked me like what skincare to use. I was 21 now. I'm thinking he's like 16. He's not. But I always say, like, he's not got much money to spend on skincare.
Yeah.
He's a boy. He doesn't care. And I'm like, get a CeraVe cleanser.
That's it.
Get the PM moisturiser. And get the AM moisturiser that has SPF 50 in. 3 products. Done.
Yeah.
And you can get them all for like 30 quid. Done. They'll last you 3 months. That's what? 120 £120 a year on skincare. I could use that, to be honest, and my skin would probably be fine.
You'll probably look the same. No, I'm joking. No, but you know, no, but you know, like that. But that is the thing. Yeah. As long as you got the basics, and this is what I always talk about with building a skincare routine, you need the basics. And if you've got the basics, and you've again, it comes to what you said about hair, like that is getting into that habit and that mindset of I'm looking after my skin. Everything else you add to it will just be adding. Like it's like you're just adding to an already perfect routine. But where most people struggle is they don't even have that. Like people don't have a routine. People don't know about SPF, or like as you get older, like a lot of people are talking about retinol. They don't know like how to even start, and they'll just go and buy one, get a huge reaction, destroy their skin barrier, and then never use it again because they'll be freaked out by it. So it's all about education and just knowing what to use. There are some incredible products out there, but they need to come with the education of how to use them.
And with diet, is diet linked to acne? Or
look, I mean, we always say like, oh, you know, people be like, I had chocolate and it like brought out my spots. There is some evidence that if you suffer with acne already, like you've got acne, if you have sugar, the insulin spike and the insulin growth factors that come with that can kind of ramp up your acne. So it can like kind of trigger more oil production and things. But would it like, if you don't suffer from acne and you have a chocolate bar, it's not going to give you acne. And like dairy is another one. So there's evidence, you know, that dairy, sometimes I saw something recently that skimmed milk is more likely to bring you out in spots than full fat milk. So there again, there is a link, but it's all kind of like emerging evidence. It's nothing concrete. There's nothing right now where I would say you've got acne to stop all dairy, stop sugar. But what you could do is maybe cut out dairy for like a month. And see, and if it makes a difference, great. You know that for you, that is a trigger. But if it doesn't, just reintroduce it and enjoy your full fat.
What advice would you give anyone listening that wants to be a doctor?
Don't do it. Look, medicine is a calling. Like I really, really believe that. And I know so many people I went to medical school with who, the second like medical school ended, they did an apprenticeship in the city, and it's just not for them. And you make the decision in this country so young. So you're interviewing when you're like 16, 17. Like how do you even know like what you want to commit to long term? And it's a vocation, right? So you have to just kind of go through the loops. So I would say if you're going into medicine, go in with your eyes open, that this is like, it's a lifelong thing, lifelong learning. It is the most incredible thing. Like I loved working in the hospital. I loved the relationship with my patients. I saw patients die. I saw people at their lowest, but then I also saw people get better. We cured cancers. Like you see it all, from newborns all the way to like people over 100 years old. So if you want all of that, then go for it. It's a lot of hard work. And if you're in it for the money, so my very first day at Imperial, we had a very senior lecturer come in, and the first thing he said, he goes, if anyone is here for the money, walk out now. Just don't do it, because you don't. Like I told you, I was making £900 a month, and £900 a month working like full time, 12-hour shifts, night shifts, everything. So my advice would be, if you're doing it for the money, don't. Be prepared. It's really hard work, but also go in with like a mindset of, if I don't like it, this isn't going to be the rest of my life, and I'm going to be stuck in a job that I don't want to do. Like I like being a GP, like I love it. But if I was doing this Monday to Friday, like from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., I wouldn't be happy. Like, I just know it. Like, so you need to also know what's right for you. Get your work experience in while you're a student, like a school kid. Go to the hospitals. I used to go to, because I decided late, so obviously I did the Cape Town thing, but then I also went, next to my school was a care home, so I used to go and like serve food, cut food up for the elderly, and just get to know that environment of like nurses and vulnerable people, and see, do you have that like caring part to you? And if you don't, it's fine. Like, you don't need to. Not everyone's got that, but you have to have it. Otherwise, you're going to be like a really like not empathic doctor.
Yeah. If you could only take one beauty product to a desert island, which one would you pick?
I mean, it has to be SPF because I'm assuming it's hot on that island. So yeah, it would be SPF. But outside of SPF, if I had to pick something
Which SPF would it be?
Probably La Roche-Posay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
Helios 500.
yes, I like that one. And then there's also, I think it's UVA Moon, which is it's a really light one.
Yes.
So I would do that SPF. I wouldn't need like my Allies of Skin self-tanning one because I'll be getting my...
Yeah, you're going to get your tan.
I'll get my glow. But then in terms of just like something that feels really nice and luxe, it would be something really hydrating. So maybe my Aromazone hyaluronic acid to keep my skin hydrated.
Yeah. So now for my favourite part of the episode, which is what's in a doctor's handbag?
Okay, this was
Show
really not planned.
She forgot.
So my first thing is my Tatcha.
Oh my god, you got a little charm with a little lip balm on. That's so cute.
Lip hydration, especially in winter, is key. Then I have a massive makeup bag. Because I am on the go. So it's literally like my whole dressing
Oh,
table.
and we were talking about this earlier, okay? There's a couple of things in here I'm going to highlight. Make sure it doesn't all fall down. Space NK makeup bag, so good.
Yeah, they can fit so much in them.
So we were talking about the Victoria Beckham skin tint.
Yeah, the Augustina Spada. So yeah, this is like probably one of my favourite makeup things I found in 2025.
And then I spoke about this recently, but I had the vanilla one. This is the Solitaire deodorant. So good.
So good. And this actually has AHAs in it, so it exfoliates. So if you get like a lot of dry skin under your armpits, it clears that.
And before I tried this, I was very much a Sure £1 girl.
Or did you like it? If you always
Yeah. Unbothered about which deodorant I use, but now I've used this. Can't use anything else. Oh, what's this?
So these haven't launched yet. So these are the Dr. Dennis Gross lip plumps. So they've got
It will be launched by the time this comes out.
in February 2026.
Okay, fine. Yeah, ignore me. What's this?
So it's skincare. So it restores your lip barrier.
Wow.
It's also got colour in it. So they've got 4 different shades.
Wow.
And it also has that, that tingly thing that gives you
Yeah.
confidence.
Really
they're
cool.
really good.
And then you also were talking to me about this earlier too.
Yeah. So I bought this on the day we met. So this is the Hourglass palette, bronzer, blusher, an incredible glow. And with Hourglass, the packaging, like the magnets, the mirrors.
Yeah, this is so nice. So nice.
So nice. And then
What
the
else do you love in
Westman
here?
Natalia bronzer.
So I always see this when I go into Space NK. It's like the most gorgeous blue packaging.
So it's like a liquid bronzer.
Okay.
So if I want like a more dewy look.
Love that.
That's a
Anything
hair
else in
oil.
here? Oh,
so
yeah.
I love this hair oil because it's not greasy.
Yeah.
So if I'm just feeling a bit frizzy. I've got like 10 different lip liners.
Yeah.
Which are all pretty much the same shade, just different brands.
Okay, rest of the bag.
Okay, rest of the bag. Fleur. So I got this from
Is this the cherry?
No, this is
Rose
rose.
Whip.
Yeah, I've got the cherry as well, and I've also got Missing Person.
I don't normally like rose, but that's really
This
nice.
is really nice, and they also engraved it at the Space NK Christmas party. So I've always got that in my bag. Just a bit of money because
why not?
You never know. There's
Tenner,
tenner.
won't get you very far in London, hun.
Sunglasses.
Cute.
For like the cold, sunny London days. I picked these up in Cannes when I went.
Oh, I love that. So
recently.
chic. Look at her. Literally the most stylish doctor If I walked into a GP appointment and you were there, I'd be like, what?
We've been talking about skin and hair like
I
the
know.
whole time.
I actually met a really lovely doctor the other day at that private blood test I had.
Okay.
And I was in like a tracksuit looking literally horrendous. And then, because we were waiting, he started asking me what I did. And normally I just lie because I can't be bothered to open a can of worms. But then she started asking me, and bless her, she was like, well, do you think when you've made it with the influencing, you'll stop with the marketing agency? And I was like, I don't really know how to say that I have. So I just said, oh, well, actually, I've got like nearly 2 million followers, but the marketing agency is like a passion project.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, like I didn't know. She didn't, from an outsider's perspective, obviously, if you did really well in influencing, why would you do that? So then we were having a conversation about that, and then we kept talking, and she was like, I want to do social media. But she was like, but I'm not really into it. And I was like, well, look, you've told me you want to get into dermatology. There's already 100, 200, 300 dermatologist accounts in London, let alone the world. So if you want to open I think she wanted to open a dermatology kind of practice.
She's a presence.
I was like, you need a presence. So I was like, start now.
Exactly. What else have I got? These mints from America.
Lovely.
They're so nice. And this is also from America. So these are when I'm traveling. I mean, it's a used one.
Oh my God, it's like old fashioned and cheap.
Old fashioned, yeah. These, I think, yeah, sure. I think like Kendall Jenner was recently doing what's in my bag, and she had these.
You're like,
these are deodorant wipes. So like, if you're traveling and you don't want to carry anything with you,
so handy.
but they've been opened. I've emergency nappy.
Mum life.
Okay, so I am a pen to paper girl.
Okay.
I will not go anywhere without this book. This book is
nice
quite,
minutes.
They're nice, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, it's like my son has just destroyed it, but yeah, all of everything is in here. And Nala's baby. Oh, sterilizing spray. So everyone needs one of these for winter. So the school pickup and stuff. So this has hypochlorous acid in it. So this is actually incredible for like your skin. So if you're traveling on the plane, any breakouts, acne, all of this kind of stuff, this is like a top ingredient. So they recently sent me that. Got a hairbrush, not my Bombros.
Yeah, love that though. Do you know what? Are these like the massage ones?
I've got no idea. I think
they kind of like move with your. She's like,
flexible.
Get your hairbrush. Get my hairbrush like you grab your hair.
And then, I mean, I don't clear my bag. British Airways.
I don't clear my bag out either. Who can be bothered?
This is from a trip I went to in Italy recently. Baby wipes.
Yeah, handy.
Handy. What's this? Cream. Italian hydrocortisone, because I had an allergic reaction when I was there. It's not very doctory.
Love that. It's very doctory. It's exactly what I'd expect in a doctor's bag.
I mean, a travel adapter, because
So
who knows when you're going to need it.
She's got about 10 hair clips in there. Literally.
Slip hairbands at the back.
Yeah, they're good.
Silk, like silk hairbands. I sleep with a turban. I've got a silk pillowcase.
I have a silk pillowcase and I only use those scrunchies. And I only do slick backs on special occasions because, like you said, traction.
Yeah, but I mean, a slick back looks so good.
It does.
Especially like red carpet.
I find it better to do just on a normal day though, just claw clip to look smart.
Yeah.
Just without all the pulling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. That's what's in
There you
a
go.
doctor's bag.
And one last thing, if I want to do any skincare on the
Oh, yeah, I love that on the go. With your baby wipes in there. And last question.
Okay.
This has been a long episode. What do you regret not doing in your career so far?
Okay, my biggest regret is not setting up my Instagram earlier because it was on my mind. So I would say it took maybe about a year or two to not care what people thought. And I remember I would speak to people and I'd be like, people that I would think that I was close to, but I would be like, they might judge my Instagram. And I'd be like, what do you think? Like almost like asking their permission, like, should I do this? And I really regret even ever doing that, ever thinking, what would people think? And I think especially back then in like 2017, 2016, it was a lot easier to grow. It's really hard now. And I think I really missed I got in at a good point, but I missed a really golden era when it came to growing. So yeah, my biggest regret is not doing what I'm doing now sooner.
There you go. If you want to do something, start now.
Just start now.
Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.